Guide me among those whom thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what thou hast judged. Surely thou judgest, and none can judge against thee, and he whom thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art thou, O Lord, and exalted be thee above what they set up besides thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is thy servant and apostle. Amen.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Sister Sajdah Muhammad. Join us for Donate and Sip 2. We are hosting an event to help raise funds for the completion of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House Museum. The event will take place Saturday, July 9th, 2022. This non-alcoholic wine and sparkling tea tasting event is sponsored by Magnolia Crescent Non-Alcoholic Winery and will be held at the historic Honorable Elijah Muhammad House located at 4847 South Woodlawn Avenue in the rear garden. Bring a friend, come by, and celebrate this historic project with us on Saturday, July 9th, 2022 from 4 to 7 p.m. Central Time. To register for this historic event, click the link in the bio or simply go to eventbrite.com and search Donate and Sip. Capacity is limited.
You belong to yourself. You're an independent people, created from the nation of free people. Yes, sir. You don't need to go nowhere but to yourself. Yes, sir. There will be a great separation. Yes, sir. So I said, it is on now.
The college is meant to prepare you for your future. That the time dictates that if we don't do something for ourselves as a people, we will be destroyed. And the aim of the enemy right now is to take us out.
We have God with us. We have Him as our guide. Yes, sir. We don't have to stand around here and ask the question, what must be done? Yes, sir. Get up and let's go and do something. Yes, sir. We cannot sit down. We cannot lay down. Yes, sir. We must get up. Yes, sir. And go to work.
Do you know what real joy is in life? Visioning something and bringing it into reality. That's real joy. Do you know what the next step in joy is? Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell in unity.
Tonight, you need to fasten your seatbelts. We're going to hear from some of the greatest minds in the world. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of trusting our future and the future of our children into the hands of those who don't love us. I believe we need to revitalize black leadership.
You belong to yourself. sir. You're an independent people, created from the nation of free people. Yes, sir. You don't need to go nowhere but to yourself. Yes, sir.
So the challenge is an education that enlivens us to do business. Business is the activity of life itself. Every creature is born with the inherent ability to attract out of this material earth what it needs to perpetuate its species.
Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, family. You are tuned in to the MOEToday series on Black Muslim businesses. And we're going to be talking today about creating with intention. And I'm going to be talking to my sister, Sister Sajdah Muhammad. And her jewelry is so intentional and she puts so much spirit behind it. And so I want to talk about that because it's that type of energy that is oftentimes missing from businesses today. When we go out into the broader community, it's like business that are, or products with intention are some kind of specialized items. But this is something that we do here with our Black Muslim businesses and our new emerging market all the time. I know for me, everything that I do, how I decorate my house, whether it's the car I drive, the earrings I wear, there's some kind of intention behind it. Either somebody I know that made it or it means something to me. And so we're going to talk about that today. Sister has an incredible jewelry line. She's definitely reached a level. Excuse me for continuing to adjust myself here. She's definitely reached a level that I think you all need to hear about. Before I bring her on, I want to bring up a video that I found on her Instagram page about one of the bangles that she created so that you can kind of get an idea before you even see her, the type of intention that she puts into her jewelry and her products. And let me tell you something, here on the Black Muslim Business Directory, we've been at this, believe it or not, over 50 weeks where we've been highlighting Black Muslim businesses and showing you this ecosystem. So I encourage you all, do business with one another. If you have to give a gift, look for a Black Muslim company that you can go and purchase a gift for your loved one for. But let's do business with each other. And my goal here is for those of you who are on the show, that you receive more and more goodness and blessings, that your businesses thrive, and that you receive a bump in sales just from creating these videos. And they'll be out here on YouTube. So if you've been missing shows like the past 50 weeks or so, you can go on and binge. But check out this video from my sister, and we'll be right back to bring her on.
This is sort of an echo to our own sort of irregularities on the surface from one another, and not as something to be shy about or ashamed of, but it adds to the beauty of it. It adds to our character. It adds to what sort of makes us interesting. What makes culture interesting is that we are different. So this bracelet is sort of just an echo of that thought process.
See how she puts that intention into there? I'm going to bring my sister on. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Sajdah. How are you, sis?
Walaikum salam. I'm doing excellent.
It's so good to see you.
It's so good to be here. I'm really excited.
Listen, I love just working with and interacting with creative entrepreneurs like yourself. What you're doing is absolutely incredible. I just showed a video about a bangle that you created. Talk to us about that process. Before we even get into your business, I want you people to feel your creativity and the intention that you put behind all the jewelry that you make.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for asking that. And I appreciate you starting with that, because for me, that really is the most important part of the process, which is why I appreciate your platform so much when it comes to being conscious entrepreneurs, because this phrase came to me, and I actually started my business shortly after my father transitioned. And I kind of had a soul searching session, and I asked Allah, to show
That
me what
happened
it is.
when my father
Really?
Yep.
Wow, because my father and I were I was a daddy's girl for sure. But I did from the inception, I was intentional about the name Manal, which means attainment, success, achievement. And I knew that this was something that I myself, okay, thank you. By the way, we'll be having probably guest appearances for my 5-year-old, right?
The 5-year-old right now. I met him before, but let's go ahead and meet him. Let him come on
Okay,
in.
Rara, come here real quick. You want to say hi? You want to say assalamu alaikum really quick? Say assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. This is the generational benefactor of this beautiful company that you're putting together. So he has every right to jump into the video when he desires.
Yes, ma'am. Anybody who spends a little bit of time in the Manal platform definitely will become very well acquainted with Ra. He's always here with me. But yes, ma'am. So I was really intentional about choosing the name, and I knew that I wanted to use my passion, the thing that I get most joy out of, which is design and fashion. And at this point in time, I'm focused on jewelry. But I wanted to use that to serve. And so often when I'm designing the collections, and I have a few, for example, this is the Sal ring, which means mud or sounding clay in Arabic. And this one is all about humility. It's all about reawakening our inner child. It's all about and mud even itself. So those are all three things that I believe are kind of foundational elements. And it's really a spiritual process in how the collections come together, how the meanings come together. I do research and study about these words, about the etymology of the words. And I really feel like it's partly me being intentional, but there's also an aspect when I'm designing and being intentional about these collections of letting Allah speak and reveal things to me as well.
Yes, yes. You know, sis, talk about, because I this is why I connected with you, because I'm really big on allowing Allah to flow through me. And I think some people think that when you live your life like that, like you're just kind of always floating and off in la la land, sometimes it becomes very painful because you have to let go of so much of yourself. You have to let go of your ego. You have to expose your heart. And that can be very painful and it's very vulnerable. Talk to me about that process and how that impacts your creativity.
Yes, so I feel like so I'm a metalsmith. I make jewelry, but I'm also a metalsmith. So that means that I take the metal, I forge it, I have my torch set up and stuff behind me. And so even just that process alone of how the metal, it starts from a raw material, then you have to heat it, you have to hammer it, you have to bend it. And I imagine this would be a painful experience if I was this piece of jewelry. And I might even be saying, I thought you were going to make me something beautiful. And here you are lighting me up and doing all of this stuff. But at the end, then you go through the polishing process, which is, I have, it's called steel shot. And I have this big tumbler back here behind me, and that it rotates, it vibrates, and it knocks against the piece to polish it though. And then you take it out. There may be a few more finishing touches, but then you have that finished piece that needed to go through that process. So even the process of making the jewelry has taught me more about faith and taught me how to have more faith, to the point that honestly, I believe that is kind of the underlying purpose of the jewelry, is to help give us reminders, which is why I'm so intentional about what the pieces mean. I want them to be beautiful pieces of jewelry for us to adorn ourselves with as women. But I also want them to be reminders, like wearable reminders. So as we're going through our journeys, we can say, oh, this is actually this is part of the process. This is actually, I'm having this struggle, I'm having this trial so that I can evolve, so that I can expand and have, the more that I've been asking for, but this is the process of growth and expansion, which stretches you. And sometimes we just need reminders of that. So for me, even as I'm designing, I'm learning, I'm being vulnerable, I'm experiencing the pain, but I find that it helps to further inspire the messages that I can then pass along.
That's so beautiful. So with all this intention that you've put in your creative designs, really starting it and really it probably was in you all along, but you just released it when your father made his transition. How has the broader market accepted your products, and what have been some of the highlights?
Honestly, and my husband tells me this all the time, I need to sit down and just kind of look and observe and just kind of take in the impact that it has. I feel like I'm so focused sometimes that I'm not really looking at that part.
Yeah.
But Manal does have a global audience. We have people purchasing from, Japan, retailers purchasing from Japan and Africa, and I have some customers, for example, that I had a customer, she's Peruvian, and she said, wow, this reminds me of home. This is something that I remember seeing, some of these silhouettes, and it connects her back to something that, she needs that reminder of who, her identity. And I have customers who are Moroccan and Italian, and it's just amazing to me that the reception has been one that I never could have planned for.
Yeah.
But just in trying to be true to the way I like to think of it is we all are here for a particular purpose. There's something that that was called for that each of us had to come forth to help resolve and move us forward. And so for me, I'm always focused on mining and bringing that out. And I just have faith in Allah that I'm here at the right time to be bringing that particular thing out. So I guess a part of it is confirmation when I do see people from all walks of life responding to it. And some of the stories have been amazing as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's beautiful.
It's culture, and culture rooted in Allah Himself is universal.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not at all surprised that people from around the world in different walks of life have found their way to your products and find them familiar and attractive and something that they desire to wear and attain and put in their collection because when you put that kind of intention on something, that intention stays there.
Mm.
That person picks up that piece of jewelry, they may not know what it is. And just go, it's something about it. But I just, give us the website real quick so that I can have it going across here. And I'm sorry I didn't put it up here earlier.
Oh, yes, ma'am. It is manal.com, and I can spell that for you as well. M as in moon, A-H, N as in Nancy, A-L.com.
Okay. No, that's beautiful. What are some of, there are a lot of people that, this is a crowd. Does Ra want to come back on and talk to us?
You okay? Okay, he's walking away.
This is one of those fields. It's a crowded field. Jewelry. A lot of people are into jewelry. People make jewelry, but I think that the intention you put behind your jewelry is what makes it unique.
Mm-hmm.
What other things do you see yourself adding to your jewelry? Let's talk about the style of it, some of the different key pieces. You showed the ring, I showed the bracelet, the bangle with the intention to it. What are some of the style differences with your jewelry?
Yes, ma'am. So I have several collections, and this one that I showed you is from the Saw collection. I also have I have a few collections mixed up right now. I have this bangle. This is from the Vine collection, which this one is representative of the process of manifestation. I know that's something that we hear.
Let me see that again.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. This is, and I'll take it off actually.
Okay.
The Vine bangle.
The Vine bangle. And what does it represent?
Yep. So this one is, I was inspired by, first of all, the form of a vine. So sometimes when I design, I may start with a word or an idea. Sometimes it comes in a dream, or it might be a form or a silhouette or a shape that I'm inspired by. And I just kind of meditate on that and let whatever the message is that wants to come to me come through it. But this one was about the process of manifestation, which I think is really important because there's a lot of focus right now on manifestation and how to manifest and, change our lives.
I have a whole class on Thursday night.
That's right. And I watch it. But this one was more so about not just the end result, but focusing on the process, the maintenance, the journey. And so I thought about the function of a vine. And it's the channel that delivers the nutrition. It delivers all the good stuff to develop that fruit or develop that flower. And so that's the part that I wanted us to focus on with the vine collection. So I have quite a few. I have quite a few collections. I don't know if you want me to go through all of them.
Go through what you feel, what your spirit is telling you to go through, because I want people to see the designs, because really to me, they're like artwork. You create your design like an artist would do a painting or a drawing. You let the spirit speak to you. You see a silhouette. There's something that you look at and it comes right out at you. And then you create that. So whatever designs are coming through for you right now that you want to share with us, please share them.
Yes. Okay. So I do have one more, if you insist. This one is called the Mariah Collection. And this one is really, really special to me because a customer actually named it. So I have a few pieces that customers have actually named. I like to bring them into the process because, you know, the most important thing is serving women and being of value to us as women. So customer named this one, and this pair of earrings I'm wearing is from the Mariah Collection as well, which means mirrors in Arabic. And there, I want to actually go deeper into the study of this one because that word mirror and Mariah also has a connection to the name Mary. So I feel like there's something there that wants to come out. But this is the ring. I just took this one off. This is the Mariah ring. And this one was inspired by ancient Egyptian jewelry. So you can flip it over and personalize, you know, the underside of that if you wanted to. But I wanted to highlight this Mariah collection because it represents, or it means mirrors, but it's a representation of what's within, reflecting and projecting outward, us being intentional about what it is that we're projecting outward, but also what is coming back towards us. So being intentional about that process of reflection, it goes back and forth, you know, and sharing our light and making sure that it's a good light that we're sharing, you know. So I did want to highlight that piece. This is one of my favorite collections.
That's beautiful. And I like the way you tied it back to ancient Egyptian jewelry, because one of the things I do a lot of studying about not just Egyptian, but just past women, you know, from Pharaoh times and going all the way back to as far back as I can go. And I study the people, and I study the women a lot. And jewelry was a big part of their lives. And so I'm sure that they didn't have a chance to go to the mall and just go, I can just buy up whatever I want. So whatever they wore on their bodies represented something.
Yes.
Something to them. And so it was jewelry that mattered, jewelry with intention. And you mentioned it was all about uplifting and protecting women. Talk more about that.
Yes. So there's actually something called the 5 pillars that came to me from Manal, and it's basically the stages of development of a flower. And so the first pillar is about the seed, you know, being underneath and being in the darkness. And that is the most fundamental stage of development for us as women. That's the development stage for us. And then the second is the stage where it sprouts. And so that for me represents, okay, once we go in and we start to kind of look at and observe ourselves and study ourselves, then things will come up, things will become exposed that now, you know, it's being given light. It's, you know, there's light coming towards that. And then the next stage was maintenance. So as it starts to grow, there may be some weeds coming up. There may be, you know, the crops or whatever it is, the vegetation coming up that you actually do want to be nurturing. So we have that process of maintenance. So we're weeding and pulling away the things that we don't want. That's the hard work, you know, and we're nurturing and continuing to feed the things that are not yet where they're going to be. They're in transition. They're in this stage where they have to be cared for, nurtured. And then the next stage is, and I'm forgetting, I feel like I'm missing one of them, but the next stage, and I can share this, you know, maybe on social, you know, social media or something, if you want to share those stages. But, here's the 4th stage. It's the bloom. So it's when that fruit finally comes and you can harvest it. It's when that flower finally comes and you get to enjoy the experience of it. So that's kind of like the reward after the struggle. And then the final stage, and this is my favorite, this is where I feel like Manal comes in, is preservation. And so I think about the fragrance then that comes off of a flower. It's kind of like it creates an atmosphere around itself. And so I like to think about the jewelry and the adornment as helping to reinforce the atmosphere that we want to walk into a space. There's a quote that actually inspired this by the minister, and this is a rough paraphrase, but he said, I think somebody asked, how do you stay positive in a room full of, negativity, or when people are against you? And he said, because I bring my own atmosphere. I carry my own atmosphere. And I was so inspired by that. And I thought, okay, these wearable reminders will help reinforce the atmosphere that we carry. So as we walk into spaces, we may encounter people that don't have the best energy, but we can influence the space with the presence that we bring. And so that's where the jewelry comes in.
And wearing those reminders, because bringing your own environment with you is all about intention, and it starts with mindset first. Something is calling me back. Go back to the manifestation bracelet. Can I see
yes,
it?
ma'am. Absolutely.
You said that the manifestation bracelet, you were inspired by a vine. Can you go deeper into that a little bit?
Yes, ma'am. So I think about a vine as, and I feel like this also can tie into us being conscious entrepreneurs as well as artists. So you think about the vine as a channel where it's not necessarily, the vine is not it's not the material that's feeding what's going to develop, but it's a channel, it's a vessel. And so keeping that clear so that things can move through, so that the end result, what it is that we're desiring to nurture and maintain. So the Vine Collection is all about that process of effort. It's all about that process of feeding and making sure we're maintaining what it is that we want to be produced.
That's beautiful, beautiful process. We should do something where we have manifestation class. Those of you who are listening, manifestationclass.com, go there. But also go to Sister's website and get you a manifestation bracelet so that it can remind you of you as you're on your journey. See, I saw the vine as a part of the journey towards manifestation. It's part of the process because, and that's the beautiful piece of it. Just kind of watching it just weave and grow, and you're tweaking this and tweaking that, and you're like, oh, I'm not getting the twist that I want. Let me change this mindset. Let me do this or that. And so the vine is that process that's winding you towards your goal, ultimately to the fruit. And then after you get to the fruit, you keep going, you keep winding. So maybe what we tell people is that, listen, those of you who are really into manifestation, I'm going to go out and order one after the show. Order your manifestation bracelet from Sister Sheba. We're talking about jewelry with intention. We're talking about not just going somewhere and just buying something from somebody that we don't know anything about. We're talking about having intention engulf our entire body, whether it's from the way we cover our hair, from the jewelry that we wear. Everything that we do should have some form of intention. Our clothes that we wear, all of that. A lot of us wear intentional clothing, but we don't wear intentional jewelry. Or some of us wear intentional jewelry, but we don't wear intentional clothing. And the idea is to meld the two. And I think that you are really a primary and beautiful contribution to our culture. And I tell people all the time, we are an incredibly emerging market that everybody should get into. You should look through our directory, look at people like Sister Sheba and the work that she is doing. It's just absolutely beautiful, sis. And I'm so honored. And I like I said, your son, he's welcome to come on and whatever, because he's the benefactor of all this work that you're doing. And, shout out to you and your husband for all that you do. How has family impacted your creativity? And how do you manage having a family, and maintaining creativity. And before you answer that, I say that because there's so many women that I get emails from, and they say, oh, it's easy to be creative when you're single. It's easy to do this or that when you don't have other things going on. But what I see is you thriving as a mother, as a wife, and as a creator and an artist. So talk about how that impacts you and how you manage it.
Yes, ma'am. First of all, I want to say thank you for those beautiful words. Man, that the balance thing, I feel like is going to be going on for time immemorial. That question, but for me, first of all, having a husband that supports me, I think that's the most important thing, and he understands who I am. He knows this is who I am. It's a part of my identity.
Beautiful.
And he accepts and supports that. So I feel like that is the most important thing, is having that understanding. You have to know each other. But the second thing is, I have I feel like, submitted to the fact that there are going to be seasons in life, there are going to be phases and stages where I am able to be more focused in my business. And there are stages where I've had to learn how to delegate, how to build a team. And that's something that took a lot of trial and error. It's something that took time to be able to develop. And I'm still continuing to develop that skill set. But yeah, I would say for me, I feel like the most important thing that I could say about that question about, being a married woman and having to, and you need to dedicate time to your creativity. It's in solitude a lot of times when you get the inspiration and you receive the things that will end up becoming a part of your work. So, I would say wherever I am, if I'm in my studio, I try to give my all to that moment, that time being in my studio. When I'm with my family, I try to be present and give my all to when I'm with my family. And so, like I said, things flow. Sometimes it'll be more in this direction. Sometimes it'll be more on that side. And I just try my best to honor whatever is most important at that moment, whatever needs me, the most at that moment. Mm-hmm. And you can get a lot of inspiration. I just want to add this too. You can get a lot of inspiration if maybe if moms, we can get up a little bit early and try to get some of those morning hours, because I find that's the best time anyway to be in communication with the creator. But even if it's just going for a walk, sometimes when I'm cooking dinner and I say, okay, don't come in the kitchen for a little while, just have that, you got to grab those little moments that you can.
Yeah. And look for Allah everywhere.
That's right.
So then when you can take the time and just look for him and feel his presence and know that he's there. And I can only imagine that not only would they inspire your creativity, but your creativity may also inspire your love. Assalamu alaikum, Ra.
Yes. She said, Assalamu alaikum, Ra.
Assalamu alaikum.
Anything else you want to talk to us about? Do you have anything special going on that you want us to get involved in? Is there anything in particular that you have in stock that you want to talk about, that you want people to go out there and order?
I would say that manifestation piece. I feel like I'm glad you made that connection. Oh, and I also wanted to say it's beautiful what you observed in it that I didn't even catch. Yeah. I think that's another part that's really beautiful about this process of designing the jewelry, is that things come to it that come from my customers, that come from people outside of just myself, that add to it, add to the story of it, that I think is really beautiful. But I would say I would call attention to that Vine collection. There's also earrings that we have for the Vine collection. There's also a ring, which I'm wearing here, that I'll show you. Okay. But what I'm most excited about that I'd like to share is being a resource to other artisans and other craftsmen and artists, because I know the struggle of trying to balance the creative aspect and then also have the business savvy element to it as well. Mm-hmm. I'm no longer running it right now. Inshallah, I will be in the future. But there was a fiscally sponsored organization I ran that was specifically for helping Black and Latino artists and creatives develop product-based businesses to help us with that process. And I think that's becoming increasingly important, is to be able to have that business acumen, especially with the way that the landscape is changing. It's just something that you have to have at this point. And I don't want to hear us saying starving artists anymore. I believe we can get beyond that.
We can get beyond it. I especially believe so, because you're in a business, and this happens a lot depending on what type of business you have. You can either jump into a business where the education about the business is already out there, or sometimes when you're inspired to do a particular business, there's customer education that has to happen. That could be even if you're providing a service, you have to educate people on how to do business with you. Just like teaching people how to treat you. You have to educate them on how to do it. And I think that with your explanations of your intentions, the videos that you do on your IG and other social media sites, I think are very important. Just making that explanation. And if you have a video on the manifestation bracelet, send it to me. I definitely like to show it, because I think that's something that can be unisex, that people can wear, and it will remind them of the manifestation process. Because at the end of the day, we're always manifesting something. The idea is that you just want to be aware of what it is that you're manifesting. And if you can have items and pieces of jewelry, just like they did back in the ancient Egyptian times, that help you to remind yourself of your intention, then I think that can be very powerful. It's like me wearing my my commemorative Elijah coin pendant. Why? Because it just reminds me of what's important to me. And it's interesting because with intentional jewelry, you'll notice that it'll start to change and reflect based on who you are. I can put intentional jewelry in my car. So like I'll hang an intentional piece from the rearview mirror and just kind of watch how it responds to the energy as I begin to connect to the jewelry, and watch if somebody gets in the passenger side. One of the sisters, one time we went to an event, and it was kind of an emotionally charged event. And when we got back in the car, I was driving, my intentional jewelry piece just literally turned towards her. And no matter how many corners I turned or I went around, it stayed turned towards her. So it's just fun things like that that just help you to remember who you are and why you're doing what you're doing.
Absolutely. I think I when it comes to the jewelry, I feel like it's easy, especially as an artist and a creative, to kind of overthink the process, which is why I love that word. Yes, Rara? Okay, I'll help you find it in a sec.
But I want my toy.
Okay, I'll help you find it in a sec, okay?
I want to get my toys in the car.
Okay, we'll get it in a sec, I promise. Can you wait a few minutes?
I can't.
Okay, I think you can. Okay. Man, I lost my train of thought. Oh, I was gonna say a reminder.
A reminder.
Having reminders, because you can be, and I think it's so important. It's something small, but really important, because if you are point A here, you're trying to get to point B up here, a little veer off that path can send you way in the other direction. But if you have a reminder, it can redirect you and get you back on track. And so something just that small can be that impactful.
Yeah, you're always manifesting from everything you wear. Your jewelry manifests some type of energy when somebody looks at you, what you say, how you present yourself, how you look. You're always manifesting a response from someone or something. So even down to, like I said, being intentional about what you wear and how you look, because you want to think about, how do I want this person to react to me? Right. And certainly no one's perfect. There are times where we just throw on something because we got to run to the store or something like that. But I think it's important for us to begin practicing intention with everything it is that we do. Now, I know you and I connected and we talked about doing something fun with the commemorative Elijah coins. And so I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to helping you to promote the manifestation bracelets. I have manifestation class on Thursday nights where we're going over the accomplishments of the Muslims. And I think the manifestation bracelet can be a great way for people to purchase something that will remind them of the
Wow.
accomplishments of the Muslims.
Wow. Yes, ma'am.
If you have a video on that manifestation bracelet, send it to me. We'll get it posted. We'll put it up here and we'll just say, get your bracelet as a reminder of the accomplishments of the Muslims.
Wow. Yes, ma'am. I sure will.
Anything else you want to share with us about the collection? Any questions for me as a business consultant or developer?
I don't have any questions at the moment. I'm sure as soon as we end, I'll be thinking of plenty of questions for you. But no, I'm just really appreciative that you saw value in what I do and wanted to share it. I'm just really grateful. I'm really happy to be sharing the work. And like I said before, I really just want to also be a resource to other artisans and craftsmen because the arts is really important to me, and I know that's an area that we need support in. So anything that I've learned, I'm happy to share it.
All praises due to Allah. Well, thank you for your contribution to our culture.
Yes, ma'am.
It may seem small. You may go through your struggles. You may struggle for balance and all the things that just come with life. But know that you are a great contributor to our culture. And when people look at what we contribute, whether it's as an artisan or a metalsmith or a creator or however you contribute, it means something and it matters. So I just want to encourage you to keep going and to thank you for doing what it is that you do.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. So thank you. And so with that, let me put your website up here again. Everybody, make sure you go to Manal. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, ma'am. Manal.
Manal.com. And be sure to get your manifestation bracelet from our sister. She hand makes them herself. So it's not something she goes and orders and then she's not a middleman. She literally is making this. And so her spirit, her intention, her energy, and her prayers are going into this beautifully intentioned jewelry. Can you hold up that bracelet again for us?
Yes, ma'am.
She's there it is right there. So
Vine bangle.
That's right, the vine bangle. It's going into that. And so each one is going to be different. Yours is going to be a little bit different from the next person's. So she's not mass producing these at all. So I want you to think about that, your own custom jewelry piece. You can go right to manal.com and get that. Thank you, sis, for being on with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
And tell Ra we send the greetings.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I will.
Thank you all for watching today. To hear us talk to sister about her intentional jewelry, her creative process, which I thought was so beautiful when I met her and spoke to her. Let me tell y'all about some things we got going on. So tomorrow night, we have manifestation class at 7 p.m. Central Time. And so I encourage you all to go to manifestationclass.com and put that in the chat for y'all. Manifestationclass.com so that you can download your free ebook, which is the accomplishments of the Muslims. Okay. We have been moving into this series and now we're going deeper. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about the role of real estate in the economic development plan. We're going to talk about the role of real estate and the history of real estate and land acquisition in any economy and how it is a cornerstone or the basis of the economy. And I didn't bring here with me, but I've got all these historic Muhammad Speaks newspaper spread around here. My office is actually a little bit mess with the research that I've been doing just to calibrate myself to the messenger's connection to real estate and land so that I can share that with all of you. And so we're going to talk about that tomorrow. And then Saturday is a big day for us. Okay. We have the Sajdah Saturday morning coffee talk. where we talk about life, love, and business. And then we're going to be on site for Donate and Sip at the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House, which is now listed on the National Historic Registry. Make sure that you go and register. Go to eventbrite.com. Just search for Donate and Sip. Get yourself registered. Registration is important, not only because it allows us to communicate with you and keep you up to date on what we have going on, but because you're going to get a very special opportunity with a raffle that Magnolia Crescent Orchard and Non-Alcoholic Winery is doing for those that register. So you have to be registered and you have to be present in order to receive your free gift. We also have, for the first 50 people, some of our Sajdah bean pie infused ice cream. You don't want to miss that. That ice cream is divine. I heard somebody describe that, and I said, I'm going to keep that because it really, truly is divine. Brother Yaya and Sister Nataki developed the ice cream, and I'm just so happy and excited about it because it really is rich and beautiful. And it, again, represents our culture because it infuses the supreme bean pie as well. So come on out, donate and sip. Also support the completion of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House. That's what we're going to be doing Saturday. So come out, bring your checkbook, bring your credit card. If you say, you know what, I already came and I already gave, then come again and bring somebody with you. If you say, well, I only got $100, then bring 5 people with you that have $100. If you say I only got $10, bring 10 people with you with $10. Bring somebody else with you who's also going to donate, somebody who understands this type of intentional way of doing business. This is intentional real estate development. It's intentional renovation of a sacred property. And it's a way that we can begin the process of decolonizing our minds as it relates to how we spend our money and what we do when it comes to our stories and preserving our stories. It's time for us to own and monetize our history, our story, and it's time for us to uplift this great man right here, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And you can see there are commemorative Elijah coins that are right here. We made those coins. We just talked about intentional jewelry. We made these coins. Some of them we turned into pendants. I think we only have about 80 of these left. So you may want to get them before supplies run out. Make sure you like and subscribe to the page. That's very important. That way you get notices and it helps us to share information with you more readily, just in case we're shadow banned or something like that. So with that, family, I love you all. I appreciate your support. Shout out to Magnolia Crescent Orchards and Non-Alcoholic Winery. Shout out to Brother Mandine Muhammad and Brother Emmanuel, who hosted us last night on the Mandine Team Muhammad show. We're going to pop in there again tonight at 6 p.m. They're going to be talking to one of our other members of the Black Muslim Business Directory, another family member, Sean Michelle's Homemade Ice Cream, who just opened up a new location. And they're going to be celebrating also on Saturday. So during the day, y'all can go by Sean Michelle's. Y'all can hang out over there till 4 or 5 o'clock, and then come on down to Donate and Sip and hang out with us there. So we got a big nation. We can do more than one thing. We can walk and chew bubble gum at the same time. And let's do that. Saturday, according to forecast, supposed to be a beautiful day. So let's enjoy the creation of our new community and our ecosystem. So again, like and subscribe to the page. Let me put this up. I forgot to do that. Listen, if you want to donate and you said, I can't make it, go to sajdahhousedonations.com right now. Especially if you get anything from some of these shows that I put together, pay us back with a donation for the completion of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House, sajdahhousedonations.com. But I suggest that you get yourself a commemorative Elijah coin. All right. Peace and blessings, family. I see you all in the chat, chatting it up. All praises due to Allah. Thank you so much for coming on to the show. Make sure you go to Sister's page, manal.com, and get your manifestation bracelet as well. Look, I know y'all like every time she come on here, she telling us to spend money, donate. Look, money ain't nothing but a medium of exchange. We're gods. Money flows through us frequently and easily. And if you've been attending manifestation class, you know that. And you know that it costs money to be a god. That's why we get and have all the money that we need to do what it is that we want and need to do and introduce much needed goods and services into our community. Money will flow through us frequently and easily if we have the right intentions. So, all right, family, peace and blessings. And I will see you all, inshallah, tomorrow night for a manifestation class.
Muslims, you shouldn't be around here looking to white people to give you a job. Go look in message to the black man and the economic blueprint. And if there are 4 of you, 6 of you, 8 of you together, pool your resources, go into business and set up business all over the south and west side of Chicago. But if you poor and we poor, hell man, we can't be around here poor. I want to see rich Muslims. And if you obey Allah, there's no reason why you can't make a business successful. You just have to get up and stop being lazy and trifling and go do something for yourself.